This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And we get a chance today to talk Cheyenne sports like UW football. How about South High football, Cheyenne Extreme, Cheyenne softball. It's
I like
all
how you
coming
said
up.
Cheyenne sports, even though university's over in Laramie, but whatever.
Yeah, but it's always near and dear to our heart here in Cheyenne. Our program is being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. Again, the Sierra Chicken Sandwich is back for a limited time. Don't snooze, you lose at all participating Taco John's of Cheyenne. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way, where the lot has some good-looking Kias 2019s. And AJ has some great pricing for you right now because they need to move them out. 20s are on the way. Matter of fact, the 2020 Telluride already in the lot, and it's already been huge. You want to talk about the newest SUV on the market? It comes to us from Kia. And I mean, this bad boy is loaded and cool. Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank ×2. Saw my friend Rick today over on Vanda High. Of course, banking can be done both on Vanda High as well at the corner of College and Persian. Again, Platte Valley Bank with all of the banking services, customer service included. And again, high technology also included as well. Platte Valley Bank ×2. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange, directly across from Menards and right across from Powers Field. Ray and Cindy invite you to come on by for a limited time. You can still sample, and I would go for 2. Order a pair of these Smokehouse barbecue bacon sandwiches. They are absolutely out of this world. Wash it down with their Strawberry Passion Tea Lemonade. Again, here for a limited time, I do believe by the end of the month. Hasta la vista, baby. So you need to get over there and check them on out. Open Monday through Saturday for 3 squares, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 2 convenient drive-thrus, Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Delrange. Medicap Pharmacy. For all your pharmaceutical needs, indoor, you can shop Monday through Saturday. You can use the convenient drive-thru Monday through Saturday. Gene's Place has been there for a long, long time, right next door to Texas Roadhouse on Bluegrass Circle. Lennox Auto Body, the main auto and truck repair center over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard, part of Lennox Enterprises for a quarter century, serving our needs here in this area. We also want to thank First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. As you can do banking, again, always the old-fashioned way, go on in, have them take care of you. They can do the technology way as well. But again, right now, you want to go talk to First Tier Bank about their special CD rates. So if you're into making a buck or two, then you want to go talk to First Tier Bank first. 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. And where Nick and myself had lunch today, saw our good buddy Joe Mondello and the crew over at Mondello's Pizzeria. And the pie was excellent, as always. And again, Mondello's Pizzeria. Pizza, strombolis, calzones. They also do delicious sandwiches. I went off the chart today. I did not go with my sandwich. I went pie today, and it was all delicious. So again, Joe has been making pizza the Paisan way for 30-plus years here in our part of the world. Brought his East Coast recipes out here. And again, family-owned, family-operated Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Now, we go to Nick first to give us the skinny on the scoreboard. It's being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. I bet it's going to be very limited.
Go figure, as it has been for the entire month of August, and will continue on at least until football time. But at least in the region side of things, out in Gering, Nebraska, late last night, in the Expedition League, it was the battle for at least the Clark Division Championship between the Western Nebraska Pioneers and the Fremont Moo. How about Western Nebraska defeating the Fremont Moo by a final of 16-0? So Western Nebraska are your back-to-back Clark Division champions. They will face off for the Expedition League Championship coming up. At least the game will start on Friday there in Gary, Nebraska. It will be Western Nebraska taking on the Badlands Big Sticks. Again, that is happening this Friday. Also, too, do want to remind folks coming up this Saturday here in town at Powers Field, Triple Crown Wyoming, formerly known as Cheyenne Mustangs, will be hosting their tryouts for the 15 to 18-year-old age range. This will be happening from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. again at Powers Field. There is no tryout fee, and this tryout is for the summer 2020 season. So, again, head on out. Go compete for Triple Crown Wyoming coming up.
Major League Baseball. Games getting underway when we step on out. It'll be the Yankees and the Blue Jays in the Rogers Center, Angels, Red Sox at Fenway, Royals, Motor City Kitties at Comerica, Braves and the Marlins. That'll be at Marlins Park. Cubs and the Reds at Great American Ballpark. Indians, Twins in the 6 o'clock hour at Target Field. Phils and the Giants at Oracle. As I mentioned to Nick, what a great matchup, though. Aaron Nola, who's 10-2, he'll match up against Mad Bum, 6-7 tonight. So hopefully the Giants can get off the schneid and pick up a win against the Phillies. Rockies will be in San Diego, California, to take on the Padres at Petco. That'll get underway around 8:10 our time. John Gray will get the call for Bud Black, and he'll be opposed by Eric Lauer. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
You love the Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne. Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials.
Our Super Radio buys, heard only right here, feature Maker's Mark Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. 1 liter bottle, $29.99. Bud Light, Coors Light, or Miller Lite Super Suits, 24-pack of 16-ounce cans, $22.99. And Icebox Mudslide, 1.75-liter bottle, $7.99.
Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Introducing Digital Wallet, a new way to pay with Platte Valley Bank. Add your Platte Valley Bank debit card to Google Pay, Samsung Pay, or Apple Pay, and have the ability to make purchases with just your phone. It's secure, simple, and accepted by millions of merchants worldwide. Try it today or check out pvbank.com for more information.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with thunderstorms likely throughout the day with highs around 79. Then for tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 55. On Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 84. And on Friday night, it'll be partly cloudy with rain showers possible with lows around 57.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Perotti, along with Nick Perotti. Our very special guest is the quarterback from the University of Wyoming Cowboy, 6'3", 218-pound redshirt freshman, as he saw some time last year before an injury befell him. And we're talking right now with Sean Chambers, the Kerman, California product. Again, correct me if I'm wrong there, San Joaquin Valley area, right around Fresno, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
You know, one of the things I want to start off with, Sean, and I'm a California native myself. So I always look at all of the guys that have that opportunity to play football outside of Cali, and whether it's at the University of Wyoming, or they go to Purdue, or they go to Boise State. California is quarterback you. Do you feel pretty honored that you get that opportunity to step out of the state and do your business here in Laramie, Wyoming?
Yeah, I do feel pretty honored. California is home to a lot of great quarterbacks, from the Northern California side down to the Central Valley, down to the Southern California side. There's a lot of quarterbacks in. Unfortunately, the schools in California don't match up to how many good quarterbacks there are. So, you have to get kind of squeezed out a little bit. But I'm kind of grateful, to come to the University of Wyoming. I chose to come here, and on my visit, I loved it, and I wouldn't change my decision to this day.
When I look back at, going through the high school days and there in Kerman, California, and again, you guys always have tough competition up and down, especially on the I-5 route. But let me ask you this question, too. When you were doing your quarterbacking back in those days, you look back at your playbook and stuff, were you in a pass-happy type of offense, or was it a balanced pro set?
I'd say it's a balanced set. I wouldn't say it's definitely a pro set. We had spread tendencies and spread ideas, but we were definitely balanced. We ran the ball, we threw the ball, and we were definitely balanced, I guess you could say.
Well, looking at 2019, where at least you were introduced to Wyoming Cowboy football, or at least got the first taste of being D1 action against Utah State in the Aggies game in Laramie, Wyoming, where midway through that game you were at least tossed out there and got your opportunity to showcase your talents in front of at least Cowboy football fans. But our understanding from last season, Sean, for you, and a question for you, it's a situation that going into 2018, didn't really know the offense too well. Was that kind of a hinder? I mean, just talk about the lack of at least the offensive knowledge heading into that Utah State game last year.
Yeah, there's a little misunderstanding from the offensive side of the playbook with me. I was a freshman, young kid. I didn't really have it fully grasp of it. So, the coaches put together a game plan that was fitting, if that meant run the ball as much as I did, that meant run the ball. So I thought they did a good job with that. Looking back, wish I would have kind of learned more of the playbook. It kind of would have opened me up a little bit. But, what happens, and I'm grateful that it happened.
Sean Chambers joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Sean, let's go back to the playbook, as Coach Bull had mentioned during Media Day. Obviously, you're very well adapt now to the playbook of the University of Wyoming Cowboys.
Yeah, I would say I'm very well adapted. This past year, now that I get a full year under my belt, I would say I'm just a much different quarterback from the mental side to the physical side of things. I feel comfortable with anything that they throw out there, and I think just keep going is the next step of the process.
Let me go right there real quick. I just wanted to step on that real quick here, Nick, where I wanted to ask Sean here, you and the relationship with Tyler Vanderwall. Obviously, Tyler had all of that knowledge last year when he was, the starting quarterback for the season. How much of a relationship that you and Tyler have now as you go through the offensive playbook?
I'd say we have a good relationship. Anything that he sees that I don't see, he'll let me know, and vice versa. He helps me out as much as he can. I try to help him out as much as I can. And it's good competition out there. He's a good quarterback. He makes me better. I make him better. We just elevate each other's level of competitiveness and level of play.
I want to go back to the previous comment that you had and talk about at least physical well-being. Last year, looking at 2018, where you had 4 games under your belt, at least the final game of the 2018 season, unfortunately for you, Sean, was against that Air Force Falcons team, where you had a few plays that eventually got injured in that contest. But now, having at least chance to rehab and get at least a little bit better heading into 2019. Talk about your physical health right now here in the at least offseason, getting ready for that Missouri game coming up very soon.
Yeah, I mean, I feel great. Even though last year I had a season-ending injury to my leg, I mean, I feel a lot more ready to go than this time last year. My body, went through some changes this offseason. I just feel more confident with myself, more confident with my leg. Just feel ready to go. Feel good. Feel in great shape and excited to see what we can do out there.
We look at the Cowboys offense, and again, we still have some question marks, and obviously I'm going to, hit on your offensive line. You got a good core of receivers. You got some veteran running backs. Matter of fact, you're not afraid to tote the ball as well. And again, this year with the Cowboys, maybe we see the tight end being a little more prevalent in the offense. Tell us right now, as you're in summer camp, Sean, tell us a little bit how things are starting to mesh with that first unit offensively.
I think we're coming along nicely. I'd say we're all learning how to gel right now, learn how to play together, and I think that's coming along very nice. The receivers are looking good right now. O-line's protecting well. Tight ends making plays. Running backs, finding holes, protecting the ball. I think we're coming along very nicely. It's common for us to make some mistakes right now since it's so early in camp, but I think as we progress through camp, we'll clean it up and we'll be ready to go, and we'll have a complete package out there on August 31st.
Sean, as you head into this 2019 season, being the starting role quarterback now for the Wyoming Cowboys, what goals have you kind of set for yourself in this season? What expectations do you have as well, too, heading into 2019 with the Wyoming Cowboys?
Well, I would say I haven't set any personal goals for myself. There's one team goal that we have around here, and it's obviously to win a Mountain West championship. So I think every day we kind of, as a team, we work and we strive to complete that goal at the end of the season. Whether there might be some trials and tribulations along the way, but I think that's our end-all goal, and we're going to keep working until we get it.
Sean, last year when they, and again, don't take this wrong, when they tossed you out during the season, and the season was going pretty bad for the Cowboys at that time, it was a situation where, hey, we had nothing to lose, with the new quarterback underneath center or out of the gun. But looking at this season, do you feel a little more pressure now as you take over the reins as a starting quarterback? And again, you know everything, so to speak. You know the playbook now. Do you feel a little more pressure as you get ready to step on the field for game one?
I wouldn't say so. No, I mean, you can't really listen to the outside stuff. It's just a different season, a new season. We're 0-0, just like Missouri Tigers or Boise State Broncos. Everybody's 0-0 right now, so I wouldn't say there's any pressure because we don't know what's going to happen with anything. So just going to kind of go out there, play the game, be prepared as much as you can, and have fun, and then you would be surprised when things happen for you.
A common thing that's always said to us, especially when you move to the next levels, out of high school to college, and it's bigger, stronger, and faster. That's the three things we always hear. What was your assessment last year going from the high school ranks to D1? What did you see on the field and experience last year when you were playing football?
Yeah, I would say faster. When I stepped in there for my first play against Utah State, everything was like a blur. Really, it was fast. The guys move fast. Even the D linemen are moving fast, and they're big and they're strong, and they're just quick. And it was kind of like a blur, and I had to adjust to that game speed very quickly. And then I guess you could say the next week it's Colorado State. Everything really just slowed down for me, and I kind of saw things develop and saw why things happen. So I'd say the speed of it really had to adjust to.
Well, it becomes bigger, stronger, faster for 2019, especially Game 1 coming up August 31st, 5 p.m. there at Laramie, Wyoming, with the Missouri Tigers coming into town again. That is Hall of Fame Day and Rodeo Day there for the University of Wyoming
Day too.
As well, too. So at least, again, with all this situation heading into 2019 for you, Sean, you look back on again, with the injuries and everything, and it goes also to something with Mountain West Media Days, where you look at the preseason polls that had the Wyoming Cowboys picked at 4th in the Mountain Division. Is that something that you and the rest of the team is kind of use as potential chip on your shoulder, so to speak, as something to prove to the rest of the Mountain West Conference?
I would 100% agree with you. You know, we saw those. We try not to pay attention, but it's so right in our face, and we saw those rankings and kind of just laugh. You know, I mean, just laugh a little bit. You can't take that really seriously, but you can take that and you can use that as fuel to your fire, and you can go out there and try to prove people wrong and prove everybody in here, in our locker room, in our facility, right. You know, we know what we're capable of, and everybody here knows what we're capable of. So we just got to go out there and we got to play our game so we can prove people wrong and prove ourselves right.
Hey, Sean, final thought from me, and I was real glad, and I've known Mad Dog for many, many years, and on his last day, he gave my son and myself the tour of your guys' facility. You know, when you have that opportunity, and you think back to when you were being recruited to come to the University of Wyoming, and when we were in those facilities, tell our audience a little bit of what you guys have there in that high performance altitude center. I mean, it is truly amazing from the weight room to where you guys get suited up. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is unbelievable. I mean, walked in here on my visit and it was still getting built and stuff, but I can see the vision, what they wanted here, and to see it really come to fruition is an incredible thing. And, you know, the facility's nice, but that's just all on the outside. You know, the people that are in the facility working with us, from the academic staff to the strength staff to the coaching staff to the players to the training room, it's just incredible people and special people, and it really makes this place special.
Well, Sean, on behalf of my son Nick Perotti and myself, we want to wish you all the best this year and big things happening for the Pokes. And again, as they say, you got to take them one game at a time. Looking forward to seeing you in action, taking on Mizzou here coming up on Saturday, August 31st. So thank you again for joining us on Wyoming Sports Talk today.
No problem. Thank you for your time.
University of Wyoming quarterback Sean Chambers join us on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Before we bring on our next special guest, I do want to do the tough part, the in memoriam portion of the program, as he passed away on August 3rd. Matter of fact, he just celebrated his 71st birthday. He was living in Bullhead City, Arizona. And I'm shocked that it didn't ring a bell to you when we were talking about it at lunch today. Cliff Branch of the Oakland Los Angeles Raiders.
Okay, well before my time.
Had passed away. And I'm sure our guest will know exactly what I'm talking about. And being from the East Bay Area, being the Raiders fan like your grandfather and myself were, he played his entire career with the Raiders, both Oakland and Los Angeles, 72 to 86. Actually played a little arena football. I do believe it was the Los Angeles Cobras back in 88. 3 Super Bowl championship rings for him.
Yeah.
Super Bowl 11, 15 when they beat they beat Minnesota, then they beat Philadelphia, then they came back and beat Washington in Super Bowl 18. 4 Pro Bowls, 1974 through 77. NFL receiving yards leader in 74. 2 NFL receiving touchdown leaderships, 74 and 76. Total career receptions as a Raider, 501 in his career. Receiving yards, 86, 85, and 67 touchdowns. Interesting part about Cliff Branch, he was also a sprinter, and he did his running at the University of Colorado. And matter of fact, a couple of his personal bests. And our next guest, Coach Dan Gallis from South, had that opportunity to see him. 100 meters, 10-second hand-timed in 1972, and in 71 he ran 200 meters in 20 and a half seconds. The first one was done in Eugene. Matter of fact, they used to always do some great track and field events up in Eugene, Oregon, and then the other one was held in Boulder. So again, number 21 for the Silver and Black, passing away over the weekend at the age of 71. I know time creeps up on us, but again, with him, you look back in the day when you had him, Dave Casper, Fred Bolitnikoff, Kenny Stabler, the Snake, had You want to talk about weapons to throw to all the time? Those three. Branch was so fast, too. He was one of the greatest sprinters and became a very good wide receiver for the Oakland/Los Angeles Raiders.
Not a bad combination, at least, to have some wheels on him, get some breakaway separation from the defense, and having that opportunity for L.A. and the Oakland Raiders at that point in time. But, again, a guy where you said one of the top greats of the wide receiver, again, at least out in the Bay Area, what gets overshadowed, obviously, in the wide receiver is Jerry Rice, absolutely.
And he's one who broke Branch's records. You know, it's interesting, too, if you think about it. Branch is that breakaway guy. Blitnikoff was a great route runner, and, of course, Mr. Stickum. And then, again, Dave Casper was just big, and he was a guy that you always wanted to get, into the seam, and you would always hit him all the time. So, anyway, like I said, I guess mortality kind of sets in a little bit. I'm going to be 62 here in a few days, and like I said, growing up watching these guys, it was just quite the sight to see. And I'm sorry that you weren't around at that time, because those Raider teams, and they were a bunch of renegades. You had to love these guys. They were renegades under Johnny Madden, but I'll tell you what,
again,
they know how to play
it was the
football.
old school black and silver, at least those old Raider teams that were known as kind of the criminal bunch, or again the hard nose.
The commitment to excellence, just win, baby. You had guys like Matuzak. You had Otis Sistrunk from the University of Mars. You had the Stork Ted Hendricks on the defensive side. Again, Kenny Stabler, and again they were all under the direction of Johnny Madden. I'll tell you what, it was always fun to watch at the Oakland Coliseum. All right, we do need to take a time out. We're going to be back with more after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy. Time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
We're working hard for your business. I'm A.J. Miller at Kia of Cheyenne, and right now you could save on the 2019 Kia Forte. The 2019 Kia Forte is priced less, yet still offers standard features not found on most of its competitors. With Kia Forte, you can charge your phone with available wireless charging, voice command navigation, and 8-inch touchscreen to help sync up your world. Come into Kia of Cheyenne or call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
To celebrate Taco John's 50th anniversary, our famous Sierra Chicken Sandwich is back. With grilled chicken and original Sierra sauce wrapped in a warm flatbread, the Sierra Chicken Sandwich is better than ever. Plus, we're giving you a chance to win $50,000, free food, and other great prizes with any medium or large drink purchase. 1 in 3 cups is a winner. Enter the code on the cup to see if you've won $50,000, free food, or other great prizes. The more you play, the more you win. Ole the day at Taco John's.
Your locally owned and operated radio stations, KYOI-FM and 1480 KRAE AM, are just that, local, serving Cheyenne and Laramie County, where your advertising dollar stays local too. It doesn't end up in Colorado, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, or even New York. We conduct business here, we shop here, and we live here. And we support our entire community 24/7, 365. Just because it has a window dressing doesn't mean it isn't a facade. A reminder from KYOI and 1480 KRAE. First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Did you know that in rural areas of Laramie County, electricity is reliable and affordable because of High West Energy? Based in Pine Bluffs, High West Energy is an electric co-op owned by the 10,000 customers we serve, and that includes F.U. Warren Air Force Base and 20 subdivisions around Cheyenne. For more than 75 years, High West has been proud to play a part in the steady growth and economic development of this region, while also contributing to local nonprofits, charities, and civic organizations. Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service, proven and respected when it comes to the care of your vehicle. For nearly 25 years, Cars has been there to repair and fix those minor problems to get you back on the road without major difficulties. And now, as we do more traveling at this time of year, see Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service first for your car or truck when it comes to tuning it up, an oil change, brakes, shocks, work on your air conditioning unit, and so much more. John and his crew at Cars gives your vehicle the precise detail it deserves. Respected with quality workmanship. Always bring your vehicle to Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service at 604 West Lincoln Way. Call for an appointment at 632-0498. Open Monday through Friday.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480, KRAE.
Welcome back to 1480 KRAE, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com, and again, Periscope via Twitter, and also live streaming on YouTube as well.
What's the name of the show?
It is Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Proati along with Nick Proati, our special guest, and I want to thank him for getting back in touch with me this afternoon. Dan Gallus, beginning his fourth season as the head coach of the Fighting Bison at South High. Coach, and again, prior to your arrival at South, you had been coaching down in Colorado. How many years is this now for you doing football?
Well, it's been a long time. I have to say that I haven't pulled out my abacus to figure out how many years it's been, but it's been long and a lot of fun, though, along the way. My first year coaching was somewhere in the late 70s.
Let me ask you this question, and I've asked, like Goff is kind of the second longest tenured coach here in Class 4A. What keeps the juices flowing in Dan Gallus to come back year in, year out?
Well, I think that the opportunity to work with the young people, the kids, and see them improve and see the sparkle in their eye when they finally see success. I think that's the thing that really keeps me going. I don't want to tell a group of kids that this is the last year. I just feel like I want to keep going as long as the good Lord will let me keep going.
Well, let's talk about we're talking history of football and how the game has evolved, and you being in it for quite some time, Coach. But compared to your first season down in Colorado and coaching, at least being a part of football, and now here we are heading into 2019, being a part of Cheyenne South. What are some noticeable differences of how the game has evolved during your time as a head coach?
Well, the high school game has changed a bit to be closer to like the pro game and the college game. It's many teams are spreading it out and spraying the ball around with the pass. We choose to be different, and the reason we do that is so teams have to prepare for us. And we're the only ones that run the veer, the triple option in the state, or at our level, let's put it. And so anytime a team is getting ready for us, all of a sudden they're teaching their defensive line and their linebackers to play disciplined, and they haven't had to do that all year long. So we feel it gives us an advantage. We thrive on ball control and long drives and being able to just keep the ball away from another team. But to answer your question, back in when I started, it was a lot of two-back sets and even three-back sets in power football, double tight end or one tight end type of teams. And it was played inside mostly. And when you'd run outside, it would be a toss sweep like the old USC. But at the same time, it has changed at this point to a lot of teams are spreading it out. They're still running the ball and running it very well with their one back, and but we just choose to do it a little bit different.
And speaking on it also, not to cut you off, but something we talked with Coach Apodaca, who was very adamant about, at least kind of pass this along, where here we are in 2019, you look at the NFL ranks in college where you see a lot of early retirements or players leaving the game due to health and safety issues. Again, the whole CTE, at least controversy right now, especially former NFL pros. At least what am I trying to think of? The settlement that had between them and the NFL. But for you, Coach, have you noticed an involvement on health and safety for at least high school players throughout the years? Again, whether it is at least evolving of the at least technology, the equipment, and also to just kind of concussion protocols, so to speak, with high school players.
Well, there has been a number of changes and significant changes along the way. The first one that I remember is when we had to be concerned about bodily fluids and bleeding and having to put gloves on back in the 80s when the AIDS epidemic came on, and we had to just be aware of that. And then more recently, the concussion and what's going on with the NFL and the payouts that they've made and made communities more aware. I do see that has damaged the number of participants in football on a nationwide scale, and I understand that. We as high school coaches and college coaches and even Little League coaches, we have to promote it as a safety issue and as a safe game, and teach kids correctly on how to block and how to tackle and how to take the head out of the game.
You know, as you talk about your triple option, I want to go back to actual set on the offensive side. And again, I came from a wishbone offense back in the mid-'70s. Tell me a little bit about how the wishbone died out in place of, as I call it, the flex bone. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit how what differences do the halfbacks make to the flex bone as opposed to back to the wishbone days?
Well,
and now they're basically lined up as almost flankers, so to speak.
Exactly. And what that does is it spreads the defense out a little bit more and creates a few more seams. And with motions, you can put the one back right back into the wishbone, into the eye, or even further out the other side. And so teams have to be aware of motion. They have to be aware of, like I said earlier, the defensive line being able to play disciplined and play their position. And it's a little more difficult. But the flex bone came, and I can't tell you which coach was the first one to put it in, but you go back to Darrell Royal and the wishbone in Texas and that type of thing. It came from that, and then the flex bone was adapted from the wishbone to stretch out the defense a little bit more.
But the featured back in even the flex bone is still your fullback. And again, too, you were blessed with a really good fullback. Unfortunately, he went down with an injury, and really was coming into his own, as I recall, last season. And I know we didn't get a chance to see him in the last game of the season, Alex Soto. But my point is, though, that still is your featured back, right, coming out of that Veer offense?
Yeah, our fullback has got to run the ball and be able to get yards to open up the outside, to open up the pitch, to open up the quarterback on their run. The old saying that Barry Switzer said when they ran the wishbone, the fullback says, "Coach, why do we have to run this dive option 1,000 times and in practice?" And Barry said to him, "Because 999 ain't enough." So it's one of those things that you just keep on banging with it, and it'll hit and it'll work. As long as you get to blocking correctly up front.
Now, one of the things that we noticed when we did senior night for you weren't graduating a lot of seniors. So you have quite a few underclassmen coming back. You have some position players coming back. So as you get ready for camp on Monday, X's and O's still have to come into play, Coach. But, the nice thing is you got some veterans that know the system, and you should be able to go to work right away.
Well, you're correct. We do have some. We've lost some along the way as well, but we didn't have many seniors last year. And this year we feel like we've got some seniors that have been around, as you say, that understand. We're not changing anything. We're still going to run the same things on offense, same thing on defense. Our coaching staff is unchanged. Everybody seems to know what is expected, and we're looking forward to that part of it, not having to teach, the way we do things, etc.
Dan Gallows, head coach of the South High Fighting Bison, join us on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Nick?
And going back to the 2018 season where it was a young Fighting Bison team, it was a team also that we saw a few contests where injuries came to be a factor for South High, where it's already a young team. But the question, at least alluding to for you, Coach, is 2018, we got the understanding from Mark Puev that numbers were a bit down for football, including on the freshman side of things. Sophomores, a few games had to be canceled, if not altered, for Cheyenne South on the underclassmen side of things. Heading into 2019, where, yes, you do have the aging veterans that can fill a role on the varsity and JV side of things. But overall, for football, for at least underclassmen for those teams, are we still looking at a numbers issue for Cheyenne South, or numbers, as you kind of speculate and see into the future, are they a bit more healthy this season for Cheyenne South?
Well, I won't be able to answer that question 100% until they show up. We're hopeful that we're going to have that we're going to be up in numbers and then keep them out. You mentioned it earlier before we were on the air, that from Johnson, there's a split usually, and students will go different ways, and we're trying to do our best to make it as attractive as possible to come to South, and we feel like we've got a great school, and we want to help those kids to be able to have a community school and be able to be proud of that school.
Coach, summertime usually is a time for camps and getting the young men together. I don't know how much interaction time you can have with them. Plus, you're setting up programs for them to do during the off season. But what was the South High Fighting Bison agenda over the summer?
Well, we start off right after spring break with we call it OTAs, and we'll have a couple of just football gatherings, I call it, where we get together and we'll run over some plays and some defense for anybody who shows up. And then we'll have a spring camp after track season is completed. We'll go through that for about 2 weeks. And we've been going to the University of Nebraska at Kearney for our football camp, a team camp, and we take a group there and we scrimmage against other teams in Nebraska and Kansas and Missouri, and kids have a ball out there. And then we come back and go right to the weight room. Over the summer, we also have our Young Bison, we call it I Am the Future camp, that we have in late June. And we had a 7-on-7 tournament at our place that we hosted middle of July. We had about 5 teams out of Colorado and a couple three from Wyoming, and got some work in there. So we keep them busy. We're in the weight room 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, and we're working at their skill set. We're working at their conditioning. We're working at their strength.
What do the kids come out of the camps, and you too, Coach? Because again, you're trying to put your system in play to these kids and keep it in, it becomes second nature, especially on the offensive side. What do the kids come away from these camps, and what did you learn about your kids?
Well, it's like you say, it becomes second nature. Is when you can eliminate the thinking process out on the field, the athlete is free to just play and do things that they've been trained to do, and they don't have to think. When there's confusion in an athlete, anytime you confuse an athlete, you lose aggressiveness. And so we try to eliminate that confusion by running a few things, running them well, and let them just run and play.
You have a couple of kids. I should say a couple of kids. You have quite a few kids that go both ways, and again too, you've got really good athletes over at Cheyenne South. real quick at this time, while you have an opportunity off the top of your head, mention a couple, three of them that you expect some big things from this season.
Well, we have Alex Soto back, and we're hopeful that we can keep him from being injured. We've got KRAE Wright, who played very well at corner last year for us.
And one of your wings as well.
Yeah, and he'll play on offense. We've got like Hunter Scott, who played tight end for us, and some defense. So we've got some young men that have seen a lot of varsity action, and the key is going to be we need them to be leaders and teach the young guys how we do things.
Is your QB spot open for grabs?
Well, I don't know if it's open for grabs, but we.
You had a freshman in there last year, and then he gave way to Trimble.
Yeah, we had. Well, it was a sophomore, and we had.
Sophomore, excuse me.
We had him in there, and then Trimble came in, and then we're gonna likely be working with a young man by the name of Braden Hughes, who was a freshman and going to be a sophomore this year, and we'll see how he does. He's shown a lot of promise over the summer, and we're really encouraged about his possibilities.
Yeah, so we talk about these building blocks for Cheyenne South, talk about the offseason camps, talk about 2018 of what's led into now 2019 for Cheyenne South. For you, Coach, kind of grab your crystal ball and look at the 2019 season, Class 4A for Cheyenne South. What are expectations for you? What do you anticipate for the Cheyenne South Fighting Bison for the 2019 season?
Well, if you've looked at our schedule, you know that we start off with the toughest teams right at the beginning, and it becomes a very difficult start to it for us. But we feel like we can compete. We feel like if we can get through those games and not lose a lot of players to injuries and so on, and then we don't get bit by the eligibility bug, we feel like that we'll be in real good shape as the season progresses. I'm not going to sit here and make a prediction on how many wins we're going to have, but at the same time, I think we can be competitive. I think we can give these very good teams some difficulty in at times, and we're feeling real good about our chances.
I guess looking at the top four, Thunder Basin, East, Natrona, Sheridan, those are tough nuts to crack right now. But getting into that second tier or moving elevate yourself at least into that number 8 hole to be playoff bound. There's some very good possibilities for Cheyenne South this season.
I agree completely. I think that you are right on with that. What we have to do is get ourselves into the middle. We thought we had an opportunity last year, and it just happened that we were out without Alex, and it hurt us. I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying that's just the way it was. I think we could have had a little bit different game had we had him. But at the same time, if we would have won that game, we would have been in the playoffs. And so we were real close, and our goal is to get to the playoffs. You can't do anything in the playoffs if you don't get there. We've got to get there.
And again, in my opinion, and we've talked about this plenty on the show, that Cheyenne South has a chance to be that dark horse team, or at least team to finally make it to the playoffs. And I think it is a possibility where you look at your schedule coming up, Coach. As you mentioned again, first week 0, week 1 on the road. Week 0 will be against Natrona. Week 1 will be at Thunder Basin. Home for the next 3. First will be Kelly Walsh. Next, Cheyenne East, and then Rock Springs there at Cheyenne South. On the road against Sheridan. So basically the 3 out of the 4, you got to go up to their places. So there's that opportunity right there. Home against Laramie in week 6, away at Cabell County, and then just across town at Cheyenne Central. So that's how the schedule breaks down for 2019 for Cheyenne South. So a lot of opportunities, a lot of possibilities there for Cheyenne South to get playoff bound this season.
And Coach, looking back on your teams that I've seen over the years now, again with the flex bone, and I've also known too, or I've also seen, I should say, I noticed that when you need to throw, you throw the ball very well. You as a head coach, and again, I know you try to stay close to the vest with your game plan, But is that something that you look at? You have got some really good skilled kids that maybe you open it up a little bit from time to time, or are you banking pretty much like the Air Force offense? Hey, we're gonna 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Well, we want to make it appealing to all the kids. So any of those receivers that are out there that think that we won't throw the ball, we want them to understand that we will throw the ball. You think about Megatron from the Detroit Lions. Where did he play? He played at Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech run the flex bone, and he made his name catching the football in that type of offense. It can be done. We'll throw it a little bit. We're not going to throw our hat in the ring as just spreading it out and spraying it everywhere. But at the same time, we want to run the clock. I want to get the clock running and shorten the game. Yeah. If I can shorten the game and we can get be close at the end, we feel like we've got a chance.
It's interesting that you keep it still on the ground after all these years, but the rest of the league has now become, again, I could say 50-50, but now, you look at the Thunder Basins with the Mason Williams kid up there.
Mason Hamilton, excuse me. Mason
Williams used to he did a record back in 1968. You look at East with Buell. You have Dawson McCleary over at Cheyenne Central. I can go right down the list. Even Coach Harshman's going to have a kid that's going to put it downfield as well. But
you think?
Yeah. He recruits very well up there, doesn't he, Coach? But my point being, though, is have you noticed, even in high school prior to coming up to Cheyenne, that we're seeing more of I guess the pro offensive, let's try to throw the ball 20, 30 times a game?
Well, I think so. I think I've seen that more and more with teams. The quarterback is the go-to guy, and we're no different. We're just going to do it a little bit differently. We had I coached at Ponderosa down in Parker, Colorado, and we had an undefeated season up until the quarterfinals. But we ran strictly wing tee football, and so we kept the ball on the ground, but we did pass efficiently when it was time. So it's that type of offense. I think you've got to run the football and be able to establish that. There's nothing that demoralizes a defense more than being able to run right by them and then run it a different place. And I think that they get demoralized and then they lose their edge at those times.
And we saw that a few times, whether it was at Cheyenne East last year, covering that game, also too against Campbell County, Cheyenne Central there at Cheyenne South. And there was some big-time plays that we saw out of Cheyenne South, and looking forward to more coming up this season, as we will have Cheyenne South, the first contest of 2019 here on 1480 KRAE at Cheyenne South, as they'll play host to Casper Kelly Walsh, the Trojans, there in week 2.
Yeah, and Casper Kelly Walsh under a new head coach, so I don't know how you prepare for a new head coach, but again,
it's 2019. There's technology. There's probably
I understand that, but the bottom line is you don't know what's going to happen when you have a coaching change. Well, Coach, we want to thank you, and we do mean this sincerely. Coming in, classical gas, by the way, Mason Williams. That was the instrumental from 1968. I had these senior moments here, Coach. We want to thank head coach Dan Galicia at last minute coming in and joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Wish you all the best, continued success with the South High Fighting Bison. We're looking forward to being out there and bringing some games to our 1480 KRAE listeners. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
You love the Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials.
Our Super Radio buys, heard only right here, feature Maker's Mark Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. 1 liter bottle, $29.99. Bud Light, Coors Light, or Miller Lite Super Suits, 24-pack of 16-ounce cans, $22.99. And Icebox Mudslide, 1.75 liter bottle, $7.99.
Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low price leader.
The end of the summer is in sight. Did you accomplish all of your home improvements and remodeling projects? Whether you're remodeling your kitchen or adding a little extra space for your growing family, the Home Equity Line of Credit with Platte Valley Bank can help you finish what you want to complete this summer. So stop in and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a Home Equity Line of Credit with Platte Valley Bank.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All lines of credit are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply.
We'll work hard for your business, and we'll work just as hard to keep it. I'm A.J. Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and you need to see the new 2019 Kia Sportage today. The 2019 Kia Sportage offers numerous options and advanced driving features that help you know who is around you and how best to stay in control. Kia Sportage offers many standard features for the money. Some of the competition does not. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local. It's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Thank you once again to our 3 o'clock hour guests, and we do appreciate again Sean Chambers, quarterback at the University of Wyoming, and most recently Dan Gallis, head coach at Cheyenne South. Hour number 2 being brought to you by, as was hour number 1, Taco John's of Cheyenne, Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way, Platte Valley Bank times 2 over on the east side, at the corner of College at Pershing, and of course the original location on Vanderheim. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, directly across from Powers Field and Menards. Medicap Pharmacy, Bluegrass Circle, next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body on Dunn Avenue, and the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank, 1507. Check that 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Again, open Monday through Friday. And across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons, it's Mondello's Pizzeria. And again, thank you to Joe. We had a great lunch over there today, and it's always nice to chat with Joe Mondello.
You can see it on the camera for you.
What's that?
What?
Are you being?
Just continue on.
Are you being kind of like
kind
rude?
Of boo-hoo.
Look, I'm trying, folks. I'm trying my best. I even got a sauna suit underneath. Anyway.
Yeah, so you have help.
Yeah, I need help at 62 years old. I got to get some kind of help. You don't help me. Anyway, Mondello's Pizzeria, Paisan Cuisine is best. Family-owned, family-operated. 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. And get things underway. Scoreboard time is brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick
from this, at least from yesterday, last night in Gering, Nebraska, with Western Nebraska Pioneers as they took on the Fremont Moo, at least for the Expedition Clark Division Championship. Western Nebraska defeats Fremont Moo by a final of 16-0, so Western Nebraska is your back-to-back Clark Division champions. They will compete coming up Friday there in Gering, Nebraska against the Badlands Big Sticks for the Expedition League Championship, which Western Nebraska won last year. They're defending it again and looking to go back-to-back championships as it is year 2 of the Expedition League. Triple Crown Wyoming having tryouts coming up this Saturday, August 10th at Powers Field, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tryout fee, well, there is none, and this is for 15 to 18-year-olds here across the state of Wyoming and northern Colorado. This is for the summer 2020 season for Triple Crown Wyoming, again, formerly known as the Cheyenne Mustangs. And on top of that, coming up this weekend over at LCCC, the soccer fields, women up first with their alumni game at 11 a.m. After that game wraps up at 1 p.m., the men's soccer squad, they'll have their alumni game for LCCC. Again, there is no fee, there is no tickets cost, anything like that. It's completely free, along with also free food out there at LCCC. They're having a bit of a barbecue, but it is first come, first serve for those folks who get there bright and early to enjoy some of those, at least, goodies. So again, head on out to LCCC this weekend, the soccer fields, to see some alumni games.
Major League Baseball. It will be the Yankees and the Blue Jays in the Rogers Center as we get off the air today. Angels, Bo Sox at Fenway, Royals and the Motor City Kitties at Comerica, Braves, Marlins at Marlins Park, Cubbies, Reds at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. 6 o'clock game will have the Indians and the Twins at Target Field, number 1, number 2 in the AL Central, battling it out this evening. 7:45 in San Francisco at Oracle, Phils and the Giants. Aaron Nola, Madison Bumgarner, that is your key matchup for the night. Rockies will be in San Diego, California at Petco. They'll have a date with the Padres. Eric Lauer will get the call for San Diego. John Gray will be on the hill for Bud Black's Rockies, who are currently 52 and 62. By the way, the Padres are 52 and 61. Something's got to give tonight. Somebody could be in the cellar after it's all said and done. Who knows? Our scoreboard is brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Introducing Digital Wallet, a new way to pay with Platte Valley Bank. Add your Platte Valley Bank debit card to Google Pay, Samsung Pay, or Apple Pay, and have the ability to make purchases with just your phone. It's secure, simple, and accepted by millions of merchants worldwide. Try it today or check out pvbank.com for more information.
Under the definition of fun in the dictionary, they need to include 2 more words: Wyoming Downs. It's the perfect way to have fun with new and even more exciting simulcasting games on display, including Classic Heat, Great American Racing, Samurai Legacy, plus the Great Jackpot. That's just a sampling of fun that's happening today at Wyoming Downs. Make sure to get your player's card to enjoy triple points on Sundays, double points on Mondays. There's Mystery Moolah every Friday and Saturday, plus other special promotions going on at Wyoming Downs, with 2 fun locations in the Cheyenne Plaza at 3617 East Lincoln Way and at the Outlaw Saloon at 312 South Greeley Highway. Remember, for more information, go to wydowns.com.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM, and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with thunderstorms likely throughout the day with highs around 79. Then for tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 55. On Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 84. And on Friday night, it'll be partly cloudy with rain showers possible with lows around 57.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, we had a shower here in this part of the world, so ground is wet. That means probably the infield skin part is wet over at Converse Field. And when I think about that, I think of extreme softball. And that means 18 and under skipper Adam Galicia joins
Pretty much
us.
nothing new for 2019.
Well, yeah, it's been kind of the weather year for the 18 and under extreme. We're going to talk about the extreme here, especially with the tryouts that have been happening. We'll get to that in a little bit. But most importantly, while we have Adam Galicia here, and again, I think we talk about a great representation for women's softball, women's fast pitch. This is the man we definitely want on our program.
Certainly an entity that's going to be a good, at least kind of force, or at least an outspoken, at least in favor of high school softball here in the state of Wyoming. At least having you in, Adam, we greatly appreciate. Also, too, do want to remind folks that I have reached out to at least Superintendent Brown. Fortunately, have not yet heard anything back on getting him in studio or at least talking with us about high school softball. Hopefully, we will.
We'll flash the bat signal out to Boyd Brown. Please report to a white courtesy telephone. All right, Adam, I want to throw this out to you right away. If softball becomes a reality, fast pitch, for East, Central, and South, which, again, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I hope it does. I brought this and dropped it on Nick one day. I thought about it. It was when I was making one of my long trips down to Colorado, and I said, to me, it makes more sense to run this league in the fall. Better weather. At least September, October, 8 weeks of pure good weather for the young ladies. And again, even if you do double headers on a weekend or, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I don't know. But I guess throwing it out to you, and Nick came back to me by, well, you're going to interfere with volleyball, you're going to interfere with, whatever, swimming, cross country, tennis. I don't think you're taking away much from those sports as you would from the spring sports if you went spring.
Yeah, that's some that I would love to see it in the fall, and it's more for competition level. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers would be, what sports we'd be taking away from, or vice versa. I mean, on their last school board meeting, if you got to see the YouTube clip, they kind of did some research on that, and really didn't sound like they were going to be a lot of losing a lot of players from particular sports to play fast pitch. The reason we'd like to see it in the fall is Colorado, Nebraska in the fall. If we had high school softball here in the fall, we'd be able to therefore compete against Colorado teams, high school teams, Nebraska high school teams. Therefore, all that does is you've got established programs there for high school, and you can see all the Wyoming teams having the opportunity to get some action there, and all that does is going to raise your level of competition for the rest of the state.
For parents or players that are currently with the Cheyenne Extreme, to kind of tie this into, if it does become a reality, if that is a situation where we do make it a fall sport for high school, for softball, does that affect the Cheyenne Extreme at any point in time going forward if this is officially made here in the state?
In the fall, it does not. It actually would, the Colorado teams, I was talking to a few coaches this last week, and we had All-Star Weekend down in Colorado, and got to talk to a few of the coaches about it, and they love having the high school softball in the fall because they're able to get their high school season in. Doesn't affect their spring club ball season, and therefore it's a longer season for their girls down there where, if we have it in the spring in Wyoming, it's going to shorten up our club season. There's no doubt about it, but I think it's going to make the softball better overall in the state, but therefore it does affect us because our club season will not be able to start till the end of May then.
So at least having it in the springtime will affect Cheyenne Extreme, but not so much in the fall. Again, if, as you mentioned, just to summarize again, it would be better to have it in the fall for Extreme, and again, better for at least that springtime, at least season. But something that we've alluded to, we've talked plenty about, even with having Coach Dan Gallison, where we talked numbers as an issue for the high school ranks here in Cheyenne, as we are the specialty here in Wyoming with having 3 high schools where, you see most cities have only 1, if not just 2. We are the kind of abnormality here in the city of Cheyenne. But you, with having kind of the fingers closest to the pulse of softball and how many are kind of in the ranks, whether it is Extreme or in the rec leagues here in town, do we foresee numbers being an issue or filling out teams for both South, East, and Central if this is a reality?
Honestly, I know Central and East will definitely have the numbers to fill the team, and they're going to funnel any outlying schools, Burns, LaGrange, even Torrington, those type of schools. Players that don't have it in their high school, they'll be funneled to South. So I really do not see numbers being an issue. There's going to, whether there's in in that district in the South area, where there's not enough players there's going to be players that are wanting to come into town to play, and I know they're going to be funneled that way.
With you being at the front of this, so to speak, because you do have the competitive program for fast pitch, and then again, too, you look at the rec league, which is run by the city of Cheyenne. I would think both of you would have a very vested interest in seeing this play through, especially if it goes fall, just simply for the fact numbers, and talking about numbers trying out for the Extreme, and those that will say, hey, you know what, I really enjoyed high school, I'm going to go out and play recreational ball during the summer. Right.
Like I said, I definitely, in my eyes, I definitely see the addition of high school fast pitch in Cheyenne, in Wyoming, period, is going to raise the numbers of athletes that are going to participate. There's no doubt about it. I don't see how it can't. And I just, I'm pretty positive with that.
I would see, especially on the rec side, I think the Extreme is always going to be that high-level program, and it's not going to skip a beat. But I think for the recreation programs during the summer, I would think it would amp it up a notch.
Oh, yeah, and definitely now that because eventually when it gets in the high schools, it's going to have, at some point, it's going to have to filter down to the junior high schools. And therefore, you're going to have a lot more numbers of girls at the younger age, where 10, 11, 12, 13, they're going to start participating at the junior high level, so I would see, say we got between from 8s to 18s in the rec league here in town. I'm guessing we have about 150 players, 160 players, but I would see that number doubling, if not tripling, probably here in the next, 6 to 8 years, if once high school softball comes in.
Now, we have obviously the Sixers here, and now we have Triple Crown Wyoming. We also had back in the day Extreme Thunder. Mm-hmm. Would that open a possibility for a second competitive fast pitch team? And again, too, Coach, you don't care. I mean, you're all about competition, but when we had the two programs, everybody got along fine.
Yeah, and honestly, that's already starting. You have the Fearless organization that started a couple years ago, with the 10s and 12s and 14s. They've actually combined with Wyco this year to form I'm not sure what their name's going to be. I'm guessing Wyco. And so they're putting together teams in the 10s, 12s, and 14s this year. I definitely think here in the next few years you'll see two clubs that'll be fielding teams all the way through 18s.
Now, as we talk about, and hopefully this becomes reality with high school softball here in the state of Wyoming, but here in the city of Cheyenne, we do have 3 high schools, but facilities, at least coming to my mind, again, obviously the money's invested where Cheyenne Extreme play currently at the Converse softball complex. You do have Brimmer right across the street from Cheyenne East. Do we have enough facilities currently in town to facilitate the 3 high school teams potentially for Southeast and Central? Or would Laramie County School District number 1, in your opinion, Coach, need to create a third one to make sure that all 3 high schools have their own facility and no one's kind of stepping on each other's toes, so to speak?
I mean, I think currently right now there's enough facilities to be functional. I think just from me being out in the fields, the adult softball league is their numbers are down, and they're playing most of their games at Brimmer. There's not a whole lot of action at Converse. I'm not sure how the fall ball deal is going to work out, but I've been over there the last couple weeks, and there haven't been any adult games over there that I've noticed. So it's going to, but if the numbers go up for the adults, what do we do? So eventually it's going to get to a point where each school is going to want their own facility, or at some point. And I don't know what they'll be able to do about that. As usual, the school district seems to find money somewhere to get these facilities built.
And the nice thing, too, that we have, as Nick brought up, at least these facilities are lighted. So if we do bring this into fruition in a fall setting, weather, again, not bad at night. And again, too, all of the facilities at Converse, as well as Brimmer, are lit if they need to fence off a field over at Brimmer as well.
Yeah, it's good. No matter what happens with facilities, wherever the teams are playing at, unless you plan on playing 2:00 games, starting a doubleheader at 2:00, they're going to have to be lighted fields. As we get further into the end of August into September, the sun's going down quicker. The lights start coming on about 7:00 for even city league games. So facilities will have to definitely be lighted.
So as we talk about it, we've had many conversations about this, obviously with the board meetings for Laramie County School District number 1. Cities across the state have already committed, but at least when we talk to Ron Laird, part of the Activities Association, Cheyenne is the last remaining town, or at least city, that Wyoming is waiting on to kind of make the decision to make it an official sport here in the high school ranks. As we saw back at least out in October and a few other board meetings, as it's been brought up, here we are, August 8th, had a recent board meeting as well, too, where they discussed this once again. But in your opinion, Coach, breaking all this down and seeing where we were months ago to here we are now in 2019, do you feel positive? Do you feel a little bit better right now that we will get high school softball here in the state of Wyoming?
As with the board meeting this last Monday, one thing that's kind of bothering me, I wish they would include the community, the softball community, a little bit more in their board meetings. They have not reached out to us since last October, November, about anything with high school fast pitch. So I wish they would include us in that. But as of the last board meeting on Monday night, I think Dr. Brown's presented his information pretty well to the school board. You can tell just watching the meeting, there's maybe 1 or 2 people that are still hesitant about it, but honestly, to me, after this board meeting this last Monday, I think it's moving in the direction that it's. If I understood them correctly, it's going to come up for a vote in September, at the September board meeting, and I really think it's moving towards that direction where it's going to go through.
Think back to when you first started coaching. Whatever division you were with fast pitch, and I'm thinking back to. My daughter's going to be 25 here coming up on Saturday, And I'm looking back, when she was 8, 10 years old, and I'm thinking, well, that's all she's ever going to get to do is play summer ball. And if she gets to go somewhere to college, great, terrific. But you think back all the years that you've been doing this, do you ever think this day was going to come that now that we're respecting this program and we may give young ladies in this community an added sport at the high school level to play?
Yeah. Honestly, we had hoped for years that at some point it would come. The reality was the rest of the state was not up to the it wasn't as big of a deal to them. Everybody was comfortable with their rec programs, and we go to Wyoming State, and it's more of a, there's more teams in the rec side of the state tournament than there is in the competitive side. So I never, honestly, wasn't sure it's ever going to come about. Now that it's here, I'm pretty excited. I think it's been a long time coming. But I definitely think it's going to be a good thing for the state.
Something I want to ask you, Coach, as we talk about upcoming board meetings and try, as you mentioned, you wanted more of the board to listen to the community here in Cheyenne. But what would you recommend to those folks maybe tuning in or eventually listening to this interview who want to support at least softball? Again, maybe whether it is the extreme, they've been a part of that family, or they just want to see that their up-and-coming daughter to play eventually high school softball. What do you recommend to those folks out there in the community to kind of have their voices heard or at least kind of make a presence felt that they want high school softball here in the state of Wyoming?
So definitely, there's avenues to reach out to the school board. What I would like to see, I don't want to create any conflict, but I would definitely like to see, I've already talked to our coaches and stuff, and, to rally the troops in the next school board meeting. We're going to make a good showing. We're going to get as many girls as we can show up, and not to cause any problems, but just to let them know, hey, there is a community out here that wants to see fast pitch in the high school, and let's make it happen.
If we can keep you over, we want to talk All-Stars, and we want to talk off-season, so we're going to do that in just a bit. We are talking with Adam Galicia, head coach of the 18 and under Cheyenne Extreme. We're back after these words on 1480 KRAE.
To celebrate Taco John's 50th anniversary, our famous Sierra chicken sandwich is back. With grilled chicken and original Sierra sauce wrapped in a warm flatbread, the Sierra chicken sandwich is better than ever. Plus, we're giving you a chance to win $50,000, free food, and other great prizes with any medium or large drink purchase. 1 in 3 cups is a winner. Enter the code on the cup to see if you've won $50,000, free food, or other great prizes. The more you play, the more you win. Ole the day at Taco John's.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Don't move firewood. Firewood can carry insects and diseases that kill trees. Remember to always get firewood as close to your destination as possible. Burn firewood where you buy or gather it. Trees in towns and forests are threatened by native and exotic insects and diseases that can hitch a ride in a load of firewood. Let's keep forests healthy so we can continue to enjoy camping, hiking, hunting, and fishing. Brought to you by the Wyoming State Forestry Division in cooperation with the U.S. Forest Service.
Cheyenne's oldest coin dealer and supplier, the Coin Shop, is proud to serve the community since 1982. Trade or sell your gold, silver, and other precious metals. Visit with David and the knowledgeable staff for a fair and honest assessment of your valuables. Located at 510 West Lincoln Way. Call them today at 778-7196 to schedule your personal consultation.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Perotti inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480KRAE.com.
Under the definition of fun in the dictionary, they need to include two more words: Wyoming Downs. It's the perfect way to have fun with new and even more exciting simulcasting games on display, including Classic Heat, Great American Racing, Samurai Legacy, plus the Great Jackpot. That's just a sampling of fun that's happening today at Wyoming Downs. Make sure to get your player's card to enjoy triple points on Sundays, double points on Mondays. There's Mystery Moolah every Friday and Saturday, plus other special promotions going on at Wyoming Downs, with two fun locations in the Cheyenne Plaza at 3617 East Lincoln Way and at the Outlaw Saloon at 312 South Greeley Highway. Remember, for more information, go to wydowns.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with thunderstorms likely throughout the day with highs around 79. Then for tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 55. On Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 84. And on Friday night, it'll be partly cloudy with rain showers possible with lows around 57.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Whirlwind tour a little bit for you and your family this season, Coach, as again Florida State Championship and most recently All-Star Contest. Congratulations on being named coach, and tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, that's pretty cool. You know, you get just little respect and recognition, you know, from the organizations down in Colorado, and the girls, is pretty cool for them because I actually, for my teams, a lot of our coaches don't. But I nominate one of my girls for every position. Normally we get 5 girls voted on. As a coach, you depending on how you do the year, you get so many votes. This year I had 38 votes. You have to spread out 19 for your team and 19 for other girls from other teams. So the reason I always nominate all my girls, at least one for every position, is you know, you get respect from the other coaches down in Colorado, and you got to do the same with their votes. So, you know, we usually get a lot of votes that way.
And recapping the All-Star recognition that Cheyenne Extreme did get this season, we'll start with the Colorado USSSA North versus South All-Star game. That was happening in Brighton, Colorado. Ariana Galicia got at least recognition. Trista Stewine and also to Janie Adair. And then looking at a few other players, how about Jordan Harris, Kaylee Wilson, and Maggie Seghetti? They played in the North versus South Senior College game, where you were at least the head coach of the North team in that game as well. So, again, 6 representatives out of the Cheyenne Extreme program, at least traveling down to Colorado and being a part of at least those all-star games. So you as a coach got to feel proud that, and again, as you alluded to, it's an awesome moment just to see that recognition, especially here in the state of Wyoming where, hey, we're tucked away from the major cities down there in the state of Colorado.
Yeah, you know, and unfortunately, so Janie definitely got voted in, and she had to make a decision of going to play that All-Star game or going to a basketball camp. So she chose to go to a basketball camp. Her coach was kind of on her from Laramie, and then Maggie, I'm not sure what happened there. She chose not to go play. So we had those 4 girls. The other 4 girls actually made it trip down to Brighton, and you know, represented Cheyenne and represented Extreme in the All-Star games.
You know, and again, too, for the ladies, they had been off a little bit.
Yeah.
So, you know, did you get together and do a little workout, so to speak, and get ready for the All-Star game?
We honestly, we did one workout this year prior to the All-Star game, and it was just everybody's with tryouts and everything going on, and that's just all we were able to do. And, you know, the All-Star game is pretty cool because it's not, I mean, yeah, there's pride. You want to do well. All the girls want to do well, but it's not one of those real intense, get all serious. I mean, even as a coach, you show up, they already have the batting order set for you and stuff like that. You just kind of walk around and just do a little bit, so it's pretty cool. It's fun.
With these all-star games, as you talk about, it's kind of fun in nature. Not too much extreme on the competition side, but in attendance, obviously, outside of family members, parents, and maybe friends of players who have been invited to this. Would you by chance see possible scouts out there just to get one more look at who's a part of these teams, kind of get a face with the name, so to speak? Would you see something like that at these all-star games?
Probably not. I mean, if a coach happened to be in the area, he'd probably stop by, but it's not really geared to that. This particular their end of year all-star games are geared to USSSA has a scholarship program. This year they gave out, about $30,000 in scholarships for players going to college. Jordan Harris was able to get one of the scholarships. So it's pretty cool because it's nice to get recognized there, to get voted in, and also get a scholarship out of it.
Well, you mentioned also tryouts, in addition to getting together one time and getting prep for the All-Star game. Tryouts, what have you seen thus far as ladies that have come out? Have you seen new faces that said, hey, you know what, I want to dethrone so-and-so, I'm ready to play for you, Coach?
So this year, we've talked about it in the past. I carried 13 players, and it was tough. When you got 13 healthy players to get them all playing time. We made the decision again this year. We're gonna just to keep the number of bodies, so we're gonna go with 13 again. We had 11 returning players, and they're all back on the team. We lost Jordan Harris and Maggie Seghetti. Decided to just focus on school and stuff. So I picked up we have a returning extreme player that went down to Colorado for a couple of years, and she's coming back this way, Brogan Allen. And then we got another girl from Gehring that's going to be playing with us, Kiana Island. And so she's actually already signed to play college ball. And so we're going to go ahead and carry 13 girls and then go from there.
So past the official tryouts where you gave 2 opportunities for folks around the area to come on out and try out for Cheyenne Extreme, is there opportunities for those who, for whatever reason, during those summer times, at least those dates, they couldn't make it, they were on vacation or, again, out and about, had something going on. Is there opportunity for those who are tuned in right now to say, hey, Coach, I got in contact with you. Can you take a look at my young lady? Possibly, are there options like that even post tryouts?
Oh yeah, most definitely. So right now our A-team's team is full. We're maxed out our 13 players. Our 16 and under team is full. But obviously, if there's some player that was requesting a tryout that was just a really outstanding player, we're going to take a look at her. We're still looking for some players that are 10s, 12s, and 14s. All those 3 of those teams are sitting around 9, 10 players. We'd like to see those rosters fill up somewhere around 12 or 13, just to account for injuries for whatever spring, summer sports the other girls are doing. So we're you can get a hold of myself or any of the coaches through our Cheyenne Extreme website or our Facebook page, or just contact me directly. I think my number's on our tryout flyer. We still keep posting that around. But yeah, no, tryouts are not over by any means for our other age groups, and we've been doing actually individual tryouts for the last 2 weeks.
Are you pleased with the actual numbers of those that want to move to that competitive sport?
Actually, I'm pretty excited. Like I talked a little while ago about the other organization, Wyco Fearless. We were kind of concerned, or a little concerned about where we can have the girls come out to try out. And we had at our first tryout session, I think we had a total of 60, close to 65, 70 girls show up all together through all the age groups. I was very pleased with that. And now that we really have enough to work with, so we're going to have teams at every age group again this year. And I'm very pleased. I was, like I said, I was really concerned, but I think we're on our way there.
With the fall season here, and again, not everybody's playing volleyball. Not everybody's running cross country. how many kids do you have to work with during the off season?
So we'll be starting this next week, pretty much on Tuesdays, and we'll do organization type practices, a lot of skills and drills. We're actually going to try to get I think I'm going to have enough girls to do some fall ball type stuff this year. There's kind of a new, it's still new. I've been contacted here. It was basically 2 days ago now, and the Gillette coach and Casper coach are trying to form some sort of like a Wyoming elite team, to go play showcase tournaments. There's one in Vegas here in October. Again in December, there's a showcase tournament in Colorado in November, showcase down in Oklahoma, showcase in Florida. So it's still in the early stages. They have players. They're requesting a few players off our team. I don't know how it's going to play out. They kind of asked me if I'd be interested in coaching.
No, I'm sure you can find time for the Vegas trip,
yeah,
right?
Vegas, not bad.
So we still have to work some details out, but it's a cool deal because some of our girls that are really serious about playing some college ball, to get them out to some showcase tournaments. They're talking about playing 5 tournaments a year. I don't want anything. It's a touchy-feely, sensitive thing because I don't want to get involved in anything that's going to hurt our organization. We still want to keep our extreme organization thriving, prospering. So if at any point it looks like it's just probably not a good deal for the organization,
with the coaching portion of the program, because I asked our football coaches that came in here, just most recently Dan Gall. So I want to ask you the same question. That fire still burn inside of you too to be the head coach?
It does. It's I don't know if it's ever going to go out. I hope it doesn't. Some days you say, oh, my God, I don't know if I can do it today, But then once that practice session starts, you're right back in there. That's just, my dad coached out of the junior league for 35 years. He was president forever. And, now I talk to my son as you're me in about 20, 30 years. It's just kind of what we do in our family. And, my daughter Sierra, now she's starting her coaching career. She's the volleyball coach and track coach up at Glen Rock. It's just kind of what we do. And I don't know if the fire will ever go away. I hope it doesn't. Some days you wish it wasn't there, but just because you get tired sometimes.
Well, I think the kids need to hear that as well too, because there is that burnout factor. There is that home life factor. It's nice that you have your son. No different than I have my son running the operation over here. But the thing is, that fire, that desire to get out there and teach the kids more and see the fruits of their labor. I think that's the most important thing.
I'll tell you, I give Michael credit this year. He actually got me fired up this year. He's been great for me this year because sometimes I don't want to say it was a lack of confidence, but with a new team, maybe I didn't have as much confidence as I should have at certain times. He's like, Dad, we got this. Just let them do it, or go ahead and do it. They got it, and I needed that at certain times. Him telling me, just let it happen. I know it's going to be fine, and lo and behold, things normally worked out, and so he's been great for me this year.
You could tell from at least our preseason interview with you of setting the bar not too low, but it was pretty much of, we're not going to be,
it's a wait and see.
Yeah, a wait and see season, and then here we are where you're out competing, doing very well in the national tournament in Florida, and you got 30-plus wins, and it's stuff like that does help kind of stoke the fire and also do a little bit of drive, especially talking about that Florida, at least World Series of potentially still at least that brass ring to get that championship to bring it back home here in Cheyenne in say the extreme or the national champions of at least USSSA softball.
No, the drive is definitely there. So I'm pretty excited. We're already getting going for the next year. It just never ends for us.
Is there a chance, at least so far in the off season, vacation time, gone away? I mean, have you had downtime yet?
I've honestly had a few days, but now it's like I think I told you guys the last time I was on. We got all these honeydews. We're still trying to fully recover the house from last year's hailstorm of last July, and And so there's a lot of stuff going on there, and just getting out the yard back in order and everything. It'll probably be September before I get some real downtime.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you again for joining us. It's always a pleasure talking with you, and again, glad to get your thoughts on how things are progressing with the high school softball, or fast pitch. I know that is something that definitely is piquing your interest as well. So, again, thanks for joining us, and I know, we'll kind of lighten up on you a little bit here, and we'll probably be talking to you more in 2020 than we will here in the rest of 2019. So, again, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it, guys.
Adam Galicia, head coach at the 18 Under Cheyenne Extreme on 1480 KRAE. Take a timeout. We'll be right back.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
The end of the summer is in sight. Did you accomplish all of your home improvements and remodeling projects? Whether you're remodeling your kitchen or adding a little extra space for your growing family, the Home Equity Line of Credit with Platte Valley Bank can help you finish what you want to complete this summer. So stop in and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a Home Equity Line of Credit with Platte Valley Bank.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All lines of credit are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
To celebrate Taco John's 50th anniversary, our famous Sierra chicken sandwich is back. With grilled chicken and original Sierra sauce wrapped in a warm flatbread, the Sierra chicken sandwich is better than ever. Plus, we're giving you a chance to win $50,000, free food, and other great prizes with any medium or large drink purchase. 1 in 3 cups is a winner. Enter the code on the cup to see if you've won $50,000, free food, or other great prizes. The more you play, the more you win. Ole the day at Taco John's.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Don't move firewood. Firewood can carry insects and diseases that kill trees. Remember to always get firewood as close to your destination as possible. Burn firewood where you buy or gather it. Trees in towns and forests are threatened by native and exotic insects and diseases that can hitch a ride in a load of firewood. Let's keep forests healthy so we can continue to enjoy camping, hiking, hunting, and fishing. Brought to you by the Wyoming State Forestry Division in cooperation with the U.S. Forest Service.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with thunderstorms likely throughout the day with highs around 79. Then for tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 55. On Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 84. And on Friday night, it'll be partly cloudy with rain showers possible with lows around 57.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
As I look at my log here, we are programless tomorrow, right? It's our Friday day off that we take. I'll tell you, kind of worn out here on our program today. We were busy as we had Sean Chambers on earlier, the quarterback from the University of Wyoming, who's all healed up from his injuries.
Which is good to hear.
Yeah, and he knows the playbook.
Yeah, which is also good to hear.
That's a good thing this year.
He made sure to at least explain upon that of, yes, hey, I came into an interesting situation last year, but this season I've studied it back and forth, and I'm pretty confident heading into 2019 that, again, he'll get this Wyoming Cowboy offense in the right direction. Again, hopefully. So, getting that update for QB Sean Chambers, again, your starting quarterback for the University of Wyoming officially. Also, too, after that, we did have head coach Dan Gallison. Finally, he joined us out of Cheyenne South, got the pulse of the nation from the Fighting Bison, as we've covered all 3 high schools now official here in the state, at least here in the city of Cheyenne. So,
Wyoming High School District number 1.
Well, yeah.
No, Burns and Pine.
Well, we'll get Burns and Pine probably next week as well, since they start their season week 1 officially. They don't have a week 0 matchup. They have week 1, so it'd be the second week of the football season in Class 4A. So we'll get to them possibly next week or the week after that. So, but either way, though, in talking with Dan Gallus, getting the at least information, the update of a young South High team that is, I've talked to you again. You're older, you're wiser. And not saying they have high hopes or high expectations, but it is a team that can do possibly something special this season. And I still think it's a team that has a good opportunity to make it to the playoffs this year.
Well, and also, too, the number one word will be improvement.
And I think I'd put improvement 1A, but also, too, for 2019 for Cheyenne South, 1B, the other key word is injuries. Will this team avoid the major injuries that it had last year that pretty much you saw bodies moved up out of the freshman ranks, or again where numbers were a little bit down last year? It was a bit of a scramble for Cheyenne South to find those able bodies to fill in for those who went down throughout the season. Cheyenne South was hit pretty hard with the injury bug last season, and that's the key thing as well too for 2019 for Cheyenne South of will they remain relatively injury-free and not be as detrimented as they were last year?
Decimated, that would be the word.
Either way.
Yeah, English is a second language. You might want to try that.
Well,
anyway, here's the deal. As Coach Gallus also mentioned to us, he won't know the numbers until Monday. So, again, to build your squads – and again, I think back, and I don't know what you guys did at East, but we had 38. That was all we carried on my high school football team. So, again, numbers for the varsity. That was for the varsity. Now, our junior varsity, we probably, suited up about 60 guys. But here for Cheyenne South, you're going to need at least 30, 40 healthy bodies out there.
Yeah.
You can't do it with 20 kids. It's just not going to happen. I know that, again, as I mentioned to Coach Gallus, I know you have a lot of guys that go both ways for you. But also, too, that wears and tears.
Yeah, without a doubt. But other high schools that I remember back in my day.
I understand.
Players have been doing it for years, but
I'm not. I would say probably half the teams do at least half of their guys go both ways. But I'm just saying.
But South at
numbers, you need about 30. Yeah, you need 30, 35.
For Cheyenne South, it seemed like majority of that team had a split time by going both ways on both sides of the football, whether offense or defense. It was due to injuries that just plagued that team throughout 2018, where you saw it affect them. It, again, kind of led to the souring season that was 2018. But 2019, hopefully, again, this team can remain mostly injury-free. At least you understand that there's going to be some rogue, injuries here and there. Possibly players are going to go down. It's going to happen. But hopefully it's not as extreme as it was in 2018 for the Fighting Bison. But this is a team that – Coach, at least Coach Gallus alluded to, and not so much going to say he skirted around, but it was for his expectations, basically on the same line for me of believe that this team could do something a little bit more special than what happened last season, that this team has good building blocks, has good talent on it, that could be a playoff-bound team. Now, what they do outside of make it to the playoffs, again, that will be to be determined, but it's a team that – at least thankfully get out of the way here in week 0, week 1. They go on the road, take on the at least 2 of the top 4 in Class 4A, so kind of get that out of the way. so to speak.
Oh, it's brutal the first couple of weeks for the South High Fighting Bison.
Well, it's better to, at least in my opinion, better to probably get those out of the way here early in the season.
Do you think?
And focus on for the remainder.
Do you really think?
I'm just.
I don't know if I think I'd rather catch them at the end of the year.
I mean, will Cheyenne South on the road, if you had them beginning or end of the season, defeat a Natrona, defeat a Thunder Basin? I don't foresee it either way in any scenario, early into the season, later on. If anything, it's pretty much of, hey, let's just get them out of the way here early on. And also, too, it's a good opportunity where, as South ran into a few times last year, those running clocks, a team that is still building upon itself, trying to get some of the younger, at least the lower classmen, some opportunities on the field. That's a chance early on to get them some reps, possibly, where if this team does run into injuries again in 2019, which, again, hopefully they do not. But that I see that as a positive there, where you're getting those power elites out of the way. If the games go as I believe they could, and we saw what happened last year, if anything, it gives chances for those lower classmen of Cheyenne South to get some reps, get some opportunities, get some varsity experience, and prepare them for later down the season if for whatever they are needed for.
And again, too, they haven't played a game yet. Everybody's 0-0. But let's take a look at Casper Natrona. Let's be real honest here. They've had no problems with South. Okay? Do you really want to go to week one and just get a beat down on you right away? And that possibility of an injury, a key injury. I would rather, again, you got your 4 teams here. I would like to, if you could schedule the next 5 somehow, some way. And again, I don't want you playing all 4 of these guys as the last 4 games of the season. You intermingle them in. But again,
which is what happened.
Yeah, but you look at your first couple of games. Wow, schedule makers aren't too nice to the South High Fighting Bison. That's just my opinion.
Either way, though, as Cheyenne South, again, for head coach Dan Gallis, you got to deal with what you got in front of you. You try to spin some positive at it, or at least give a learning opportunity to the South High team, whether it is your starters or backups or reserves, a part of that Fighting Bison football at least program. So you got to take it in the strides, and that's where my thought process is with the 2 at least road games against those power elites here in Class 4A for Cheyenne South. You may not win these games, but it might be a positive for this team where, we talk, and obviously football's a little bit different than basketball, but maybe it's a situation where, hey, It doesn't matter what's going to happen in these first 2 games, but for the rest of the season, that's where we could be potentially hot. This is where at least things are, firing on all cylinders. We know in week 0 across Class 4A, you're going to see penalties. You're going to see, at least movement on the line.
Teams are not.
Flags are going to be flying. So hey, if we're already behind the 8 ball playing these teams, and we're not going to be the crisp playing it out of the gates like everyone else, all right, let's just get these out of the way now. And when we're playing our best football later on in the season, we take on Campbell counties of the world. We have a shot at Central. We have an opportunity against Rock Springs. We have chances against Kelly Walsh. Again, that's where my thought process is for Cheyenne South of, hey, where everyone's building, or at least it's a learning process in those first couple of weeks. All right, let's get the big dogs out of the way. There's our opportunity to learn. When we're crisp and playing South High football at 100%, all right, where we have chances against teams that we can beat, here we go.
Same thing with the University of Wyoming and Missouri. Injuries do happen. And, bigger, stronger teams are going up against you.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a cause for injury. We have lost very good players because of games like this.
And who says South doesn't come out unscathed?
I'm just, I'm hoping, and I think Coach Gallis said it very well, and I hope that his young men will rally around that message this year as they keep it on the ground. They want games to go fast. So, and the key there for
the unfortunate thing for South
his offensive line, they're going to have to move some bodies out of the trenches.
Yeah, which might be a bit difficult, again, going against the big bodies that those power teams do have in Class 4A. So we'll see what happens. Again, the unfortunate thing for Cheyenne South last year for quick-moving games, it was due to the fact that it was running clocks, which was a big issue last year across Class 4A, especially against the Campbell counties of the world, Cheyenne South, where, again, those 45-point limits, or at least that advantage for a team across the way, that's where your running clocks began, and that's where the time dwindled down. And again, that in my opinion took a little bit away from Cheyenne
And also,
South.
you're a student athlete, and you don't want that happening to you.
It's embarrassing.
You don't want to be on that side.
Yeah.
So again, too, you gotta keep the troops from A, letting that happen, and B, you got to make sure that when Coach Gallows puts his offensive and defensive teams on the field, they're clicking at 100%. That's why I'm not too thrilled about them getting stuck with the Neutronas right out of the box. I wouldn't have a problem with Neutrona week 5, week 6. I don't have a problem with that. I would like to see them match up with, a Laramie or even a Cheyenne Central to come out of the box right away.
Well, for whatever reason, they're making Cheyenne Central versus South that final game.
Well, they're making South. I'm sorry. I think the Wyoming High School Activity Association is making South kind of the scapegoat, and I know South is not going to make any excuses. But again, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy the first couple of games. I think that's kind of rough, especially on a young team. And again, South High, not Thunder Basin. South High is still relatively a new school. Thunder Basin basically said, hey, football, come on over and play with us over from Campbell County. Again, it's a tradition of football up there in Campbell County. South High is not a tradition.
Not yet.
There you go. All right, we got to wrap things up here. We do want to remind everybody